Welcome to PD on the Go, the podcast that delivers bite-sized learning on communication, collaboration, and facilitation for busy teacher leaders. Tune in while you're in the car, making copies, or on your lunch break, and get ready to level up your leadership skills. My name is Hallie Case, and I'm with the Office of Professional Learning in Fairfax County Public Schools, and I'm joined today by my teammate, Mary Beth Anderson. So we are going to be talking today about a common challenge for teams, which is managing the energy of a room, particularly when someone comes in with like high levels of frustration or sometimes anger around a topic that's going to be coming. So we have a little bit of a scenario. So I'm going to set the stage for us. And then I'm going to turn it over to you for some ideas.
Okay. Here we go.
So the scenario is, let's just imagine that you have on your team, you have planned a lesson together and had a new strategy you were going to try, and then you had a common formative assessment to assess how students learned using that strategy. Maybe it's an exit ticket of some kind. And then your next CLT meeting, your collaborative learning team meeting, you're going to talk about and debrief and analyze how that went. And before you can even start the meeting as the team leader, a teacher comes in, really elevated, and just starts venting about how the strategy didn't work. None of her students learned what they were supposed to be learning. She knew it wasn't going to work when we decided this as a team. And it just, it's hard to know what to do in a situation like that. And it happens frequently, I would say, across across the teams that we're supporting. We see that because I think it's important to teachers to feel like they're using things that work for them. Mm-hmm. So what do we do as a teacher leader in a situation like that? How do you help manage the energy in the room? Because everyone starts to be impacted when something like that happens.
So I think the first thing I would do is paraphrase that person, really name the emotion that they're feeling and share the content. So I might say something like, wow, you're really frustrated because that didn't go as you had planned. Or, to kind of name where they are and then maybe de-escalate the high energy in the room or getting to the heart of what's really bothering them. Because without that, sometimes teams can then get into this cycle of negativity because if one person starts that way, then another person could jump in. So just kind of starting with that paraphrase. The next thing that I might try is just, maybe bringing it to the group too to see so how did everyone else feel that went? To kind of, because we don't know, is that just one person's opinion or is that how everyone is feeling on the team? Mm-hmm. So then starting to get some ideas out in the room to see sort of where we are. And I, as the team leader, can get a gauge of, is this just one person or is it everyone, so that we can kind of steer the meeting based on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so paraphrase to maybe just kind of assure that teacher, I hear you. I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. And let's see where everyone else is in their thinking. Okay, so then what if the teacher is then like, I'm not frustrated, I'm annoyed because I told all of you that this wasn't going to work and now we're stuck here and my kids didn't learn and it's time to move on with the unit. So, if it doesn't work, then what?
Well, so I think as a team, we'd need to dig into the root causes of why it didn't work. So if everyone's feeling like it didn't work, I might say, okay, so I noticed we didn't get the results that we had hoped for.
Okay.
And I'm wondering what misconceptions or errors came up. So I could use a little shift in language by just saying I notice and wonder. So kind of like anchoring the conversation in observable facts and data. So it's not just these generalizations that people might be making, to kind of steer it back to solution-oriented. Because we know in our CLT, we're in this continuous cycle of improvement. And if we just stay in negativity, then we're not going to move forward and make good decisions for for student achievement, right?
Yeah.
So really thinking about, okay, so we didn't get the results we wanted. I wonder if it could be, maybe I could share a cause that I think that could have happened, or I wonder if we could dig into the errors that kids made so we could see why the strategy didn't work, so we can choose a different one.
Yeah. I like what you said about like the generalizations and getting to facts and really observable data, because they have this formative assessment, right? Maybe an exit ticket, they planned to bring it to look at student work together. So maybe as a team leader, it's recognizing like, so we're using words like all and everybody. And since those are generalizations and we don't know yet as a team across all of the classrooms what it looks like, let's move into an opportunity for us to really see, is it all, or are there some students who got certain pieces of what we were trying to learn and some students who got different pieces, and that would help us figure out where to go next. Almost like our last episode that was about a strategy ladder and how to figure out and determine like how to move students up in that scale. I just think, I think that a belief that you and I both have is that teachers show up every day doing the very best they can because they love kids and they care a lot about getting it right because they want students to learn. Yeah. And when it feels like that doesn't happen, it's hard. It's a hard situation. And when you bring that energy into a team, sometimes things that aren't personal can start to feel personal. And so bringing it to the data and like, let's look at what actually happened and highly structuring the meeting at that point of like, we're not going to have an open conversation about this. Right. We're going to all take some time and, have some structures in your back pocket around where to go from there if you're ready to like move the team forward. And we're going to have some episodes coming up around how can you structure some of those conversations for a team.
Yeah, and it's making me think, you said something about the teacher, teachers want to get things right. They don't want to waste the time. They want kids to succeed. And in what the teacher said about, I knew this wasn't going to work, I still did it, and we didn't get the results we were hoping for, is that there was some vulnerability. That teacher was going outside of their comfort zone to try something new and do it in this, we all committed to trying it. Yeah. So it's like, you also want to acknowledge those feelings of like, okay, we're still in this together. We still have your back. We're going to keep moving forward together. So like a structure that we could put into place is one that we have in our protocol library called Strategy of One to try to get more ideas out. Like, okay, so this one didn't work. And in the strategy ladder, or maybe we did an error analysis and saw they did some things, like they were on the right track. Students were on the right track in this area, but not in this. Yeah. So now that we've done that, what are some ideas here? Get some ideas from that teacher because they might have felt like what I was doing would have worked or maybe something like that. Yeah. So getting more ideas and then all coming to try something else new where we're not just giving up on that collaborative effort and continuing to move forward.
Yeah. Yeah, there's lots of solutions. And, first you kind of have to acknowledge where the person is. Right. Because you're not really going to move forward if they feel like they're not being valued for their vulnerability. Right. And keeping the team together is important. Yeah. So we will share resources related to today's topic, specifically around the episode for the strategy ladder, the strategy of one that Mary Beth talked about, and the notice and wonder. You can always find the resources for our episodes on our Instagram account, which is at FCPS_PD. Also, if you're in FCPS, you can search PD on the Go in Atlas and find all of our resources through there. So thank you for tuning in, and we hope you join us next time for more PD on the Go.